Welcome to the sixth chapter on Indian polity, and that is on citizens. So, today we're going to talk about citizenship. Okay, so let's get started. First one, India has two kinds of people. First one is citizens, and the other one is aliens. So, India has two kinds of people, citizens and aliens. Citizens are full members of the Indian state. They enjoy all the civil and political rights. So the citizens, they are the full members of the state, and they enjoy all the rights. Okay, so all the rights which are being mentioned in our constitution, they enjoy all those rights. Okay, on the other hand, there's someone called as aliens. Okay, so who are the aliens? They are the citizens of some other state and hence do not enjoy all the civil and political rights. Okay, so aliens are those people who are not citizens. Okay, and who are not citizens of India. They are not Indians basically, but they are from other origin. They are citizens of other origin. Okay, so from other countries, so they do not enjoy all the rights. Okay, all the rights which are mentioned in our constitution. Okay, now the aliens are of two categories. There are two types of aliens. First one is called as the friendly aliens. They are from those countries that have friendly relations with India. Okay, so there are friendly aliens are those people. Okay, they are from those countries where India has friendly relations with. Okay, like US, and also we have friendly relations with US. So aliens, so there are friendly aliens in India. Second is enemy aliens. On the other hand, are of that country that is at war with India. Means that Pakistanis who are staying in India, they are called as enemy aliens. Okay, it means that we will do allow them in India, but they will not have all the rights, and there will be some restrictions on them. Okay, so they enjoy lesser rights than the friendly aliens. Okay, example, they do not enjoy protection against arrest and detention, which means that if they arrest enemy aliens, okay, in that case what will happen is that the police, they don't need to give a formal explanation why they have arrested them. Okay, but if a police arrest a citizen of India, then at that time it is the right of the citizen of India to question the police on what basis have you arrested me. Okay, but when it comes to enemy aliens, they do not enjoy this right. Okay, so they do not enjoy protection against arrest and detention. Okay, so they can be detained also. Constitution confers the following rights and privileges to the citizens of India. So what are those rights which the citizens of India, they enjoy, and in the same manner, and denies the same to the aliens. Okay, first is right against discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. Okay, that is Article 15. So the citizens of India, they enjoy this right against discrimination. Okay, on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. So you cannot be discriminated on these grounds. Second one is right to equality of opportunity in the matter of public employment. Okay, so the citizen of India, he has the right to apply for a public job. Okay, he has the right to apply for a public job. But when it comes to aliens, okay, the people who are not citizens of India, at that time they cannot apply for a public job, for a government job they cannot apply. If you see the first clause, if any, in any government job, is that first he should be a citizen of India. That is the very first clause in any government job. Okay, so that is the very first criteria which you need to fulfill if you want to apply for a government job. So that's what. Whereas the citizens, they have the right to apply for a government job. Third is right to freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. So the citizens of India, they have the right to speech, so uh, they can tell their views about anything, any matter, any situation which is going on in the country. They can express their views on that. Then assembly, association, gathering together. Movement means you, as a citizen of India, it is your right to move anywhere in the country, and no one can ask you anything or question you on anything on this. Residence, as a citizen of India, you can reside, you can stay, okay, and you can build a house and you can reside in any part of India. Okay, residence. And profession, you can practice any profession you want, any job you can do, and it is your fundamental right as a citizen of India, and no one is going to question you on that. So that's what is written here. Then cultural and educational rights. Okay, as a citizen of India, you need to it is a fundamental, it is a right to at least have education till the age of 14. So it is your right to have education, so it's a fundamental right. Then comes the right to vote in elections to the Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly, which means as a citizen of India you have the right, and if you're above 18 years of age, so it is your right to vote, okay, for the Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly. Then comes right to contest for the membership of the parliament and state legislature. This is your political right. Even you can stand for elections, okay? Even you can contest for elections to be a member of the parliament or the state legislature. So even you can become a politician, okay? So it is your right. Then comes eligibility to hold certain public offices, that is President of India, Vice President of India, judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, Governor of States, Attorney General of India, and Advocate General of States. Okay, so you can even, you have the right to hold these offices. Whereas the people who are aliens, okay, who are not part of, who are not a citizen of India, they do not have the right, they do not have the right to hold these kind of offices, and they do not have the right to be a member of the parliament or the state legislature. So they do not have that right. Whereas as a citizen of India, you have the right to hold these offices and to contest in the elections. Okay, then comes constitutional provisions. Now what about the, what all articles are mentioned which is related to the citizenship in our constitution? We are going to talk about those articles which are mentioned in our constitution which talks about citizenship. Okay, so the articles, the range of those articles are from article 5 to article 11 under part 2. Okay, so we're going to talk about that now. According to the constitution, the following four categories of person became the citizen of India at the commencement, that is on 26 January 1950. Okay, so our constitution came into commencement on 26 January 1950. Now what are those four categories? First one, a person who has his domicile, means he has treated his country, that is India, as his permanent home in India, and also fulfilled any of these three conditions. What are those conditions? Okay, now he has treated India as my permanent home. Okay, I have recognized and I have said that India is my home. Okay, but I should have some proofs, right? First, he should be born in India. He was born in India. Okay, so he was born in India. That was the first one. Second, if either of his parents were born in India. Okay, if either of his parents were born in India. Third one is if he has been ordinarily resident of India for 5 years immediately before the commencement of the constitution. Okay, so this means that the constitution, the first point is he should be born in India. This is what we are talking about after the commencement of the constitution, 26 January 1950. Okay, so has was born in India. Okay, that was the first one, if you're clear about this. Second is if either of his parents was born in India. Okay, if he was not born in India, then his parents must have born in India. The third point says that when our constitution came, that is on in 1950, so before 5 years, okay, before the commencement of the constitution, before 5 years, he should have been the resident of India. Okay, so which means at least he should have been the resident of India from 1945. Okay, so if that is what this point says, that if he has been ordinary resident of India for 5 years immediately before the commencement of the constitution, means at least from 1945 he should have been in he should have been there in India, and he should have uh, been there in India and should have been an ordinary resident of India. So that's what it says. Okay, so these three clauses, if he fulfills any one of these clauses, then he became the citizen of India. So that is what Article 5 talks about. Okay, now second one, a person who migrated to India from Pakistan became an Indian citizen if he or either of his parents or any of his grandparents were born in undivided India. Okay, so a person who migrated to India from Pakistan. Okay, he became an Indian citizen, or his parents were born, or his grandparents were born in the undivided India, and also fulfill any one of these two conditions. Okay, now what are these two conditions? In case he migrated to India before July 19, 1948, he has been ordinary resident in India since the date of his migration. Okay, so if he came to India from Pakistan before 19 July 1948, then he can be a citizen of India. Okay, or else if he came after 19 July 1948, he has been registered as a citizen of India. Okay, he should register himself as a citizen of India if he came to India from Pakistan after 19th July 1948. So if he came after 19th July 1948, then he should have registered himself as a citizen of India. But a person could be so registered only if he has been a resident in India for 6 months preceding the date of his application of registration. This means now if he has come after 19 July 1948, after that he should be a resident. He should be staying in India for at least 6 months. Okay, so he should be staying in India at least 6 months, and after 6 months only he can apply for his application for registration. So compulsorily he should stay in India for 6 months, and after that he can apply for his registration. Okay, So once his registration is done, then he'll be a resident of India, he'll be a citizen of India. That is Article 6. Third point, a person who migrated to Pakistan from India after March 1, 1947. Okay, so a person who was first staying in India, but after 1947, March 1st, 1947, he migrated to Pakistan. Okay, so he went to Pakistan, but later he returned to India again. Okay, so he was a resident of India, then after that he migrated to Pakistan after March 1st, 1947, but later on he again came back to India, but he later returned to India for resettlement, could become an Indian citizen. Okay, so he can become a Indian citizen if he decides to come back to India from Pakistan. For this, he had to be a resident of India for at least 6 months preceding the date of his application for registration. Okay, so for this also, when he returns to India, he needs to be a resident, he needs to stay in India for at least 6 months before he can apply for his registration. So that's what Article 7 talks about. Now, the fourth one. Okay, a person a person who or any of whose parents or grandparents were born in undivided India but who is ordinarily residing outside India shall become an Indian citizen if he has been registered as a citizen of India by the diplomatic or consolidated representative of India in the country of his residence, whether before or after the commencement of the constitution. This means that a person who whose parents or whose grandparents were born in India, but he is residing outside the country, but he is staying outside the country, then even then he can apply for his registration in India. So that is what it talks about. Okay, so in short, that is what it talks about. So this provision covers the overseas Indians who may want to acquire Indian citizenship. Okay, so he can acquire Indian citizenship for temporary purposes, or he must be outside India. But if he wants, he can acquire Indian citizenship. So in brief, what is it saying? First one, person domiciled in India. Okay, so these four points. In brief, what does it say? So a person domiciled in India, he was already an Indian, he was staying in India. Okay, that is person domiciled in India. Second, person migrated from Pakistan. Okay, so people migrated after the partition. The people who wanted to stay in India, who wanted to come to India, which was now declared as Pakistan after the partition, if they wanted to come to India, they can come. So people migrated from Pakistan can obtain a citizenship. Persons migrated to Pakistan but later returned. Okay, so from India also who went to Pakistan, but after that they returned again to India. So they can also obtain citizenship. Persons of Indian origin residing outside India. So people who are living outside India right now, so even they can apply for citizenship. Okay, so these are the 4 points. Now, the other constitutional provisions with respect to citizenship are as follows. Now we'll see some more. No person shall be a citizen of India or be deemed to be a citizen of India if he has voluntarily acquired the citizenship of a foreign state, which means that when he goes to some other country, okay, means like people who go to US and UK and try to get a citizenship of that country. So when someone who is an Indian and who has the citizenship of India, he goes to some other country, let's say US, okay, and now he wants the citizenship of US, and the time when he gets the citizenship of US, at that time he will automatically lose the citizenship of India. So that is what Article 9 talks about. If a person wants, he is free to have citizenship, okay, he is free, it's his right. So he is free to have a citizenship of some other country if he wish to. But at that time when he gets the citizenship of some other country, that time he loses the citizenship of India. So that's what it talks about, Article 9. Article 10: every person who is or is deemed to be a citizen of India shall continue to be such citizen, subject to the provisions of any law made by the Parliament. So every person who is a citizen of India, he will remain the citizen of India, and he is subject to all to the provisions. So what all the provisions are there in the constitution, and if the Parliament also makes any law, then he has to follow it. So that's what Article 10 talks about. Article 11: Parliament shall have the power to make any provision with respect to the acquisition and termination of citizenship and all the other matters relating to citizenship, which means the Parliament has the power. It has the power to amend any provision, to make any provision, and to make a new provision or modify the provisions, any provisions which are there relating to citizenship. Okay, so it can make any provision with the acquisition. Acquisition means to gain a citizenship, to gain the citizenship, to obtain the citizenship. And termination. Termination means to suspend that citizenship. Okay, to suspend that citizenship permanently. Okay, so that's what termination means, to remove or to suspend that citizenship. And acquisition means to obtain that citizenship. Okay, so Parliament has the power to make any provisions, so it can make any laws and it can modify laws, anything relating to the acquisition and termination of citizenship and all other matters relating to citizenship. Okay, so Parliament has that power. So that is what Article 11 talks about. Acquisition by citizenship. So how can you acquire, how can you obtain a citizenship of India, how can you get the citizenship of India? First one, by birth. A person born in India on or after 26 January 1950 but before 1st July 1987 is a citizen of India by birth, irrespective of the nationality of his parents. Which means that if a person is born between 26 January 1950 and before 1st July 1987, if he is born in that range, then he is a citizen of India by birth. Okay, so he is a citizen of India irrespective of the nationality of his parents, which means if his parents are not Indians, okay, they are foreigners, but their child, those foreigners child was born in India, so that child will get Indian citizenship. So that's what it talks about. Second point, a person born in India on or after 1st July 1987 is considered as a citizen of India only if either of his parents is a citizen of India at the time of birth. So in the first point, what we have seen that if a child is born between 26 Jan 1950 to 1st July 1987, he is a citizen of India, irrespective if both of his parents are non-Indians. Okay, even then he will have the citizenship. He'll get the citizenship of India, and he can consider himself as an Indian. But after 1st July 1987, when a child is born, when a person is born in India, at that time he will get the citizenship only when either of his parents, either his father or his mother, okay, either of his parents are also the citizenship also the citizens of India. Okay, so after 1987, when a person is born in India, then he will get the citizenship of India. Then he can consider himself as a citizen of India if either of his parents, either his father or his mother, are already a citizen of India. Okay, so that's what it talks about. Third point, further, those born in India on or after 3rd December 2004 are considered citizens of India only if both of their parents are citizens of India, or one of those parents is a citizen of India and the other is not an illegal immigrant at the time of their birth. So the first point we talked about, that if both of his parents are non-Indians, then also he'll get a citizen of India. In the second point we talked about that either one, the father or the mother should be a citizen of India, then only the child also get the will be considered as a citizen of India. The third point talks about that after 3rd December 2004, the child will be considered as a citizen of India if both of their parents, both of that child's parents are citizens of India. Okay, both of the child's parents are citizens of India, and either one of them can be a citizen of India, and the other parent should not be an illegal migrant. Means that the other person who is not the citizen of the other parent, who is not the citizen of India, that person should not be staying in India illegally. He should have his documents, his papers cleared, and he should be staying in India legally. If that thing happens, then the child will get the citizenship of India. Okay, by descent. A person born outside India on or after 26th Jan 1950 but before 10th December 1992 is a citizen of India by descent if his father was a citizen of India at the time of birth. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that a person born outside India, okay, if a person is born outside India, in the range of 26 January 1950 to 10 December 1992. So if the person is born between 26 Jan 1950 to 10th December 1992 outside India, if he's born outside India, then then he can get the citizenship of India. He can be a citizen of India if his father, okay, if his father was a citizen of India, then he can also get the citizenship of India. Okay. Second, a person born outside India on or after 10th December 1992 is considered as a citizen of India if either of his parents is a citizen of India at the time of birth. So this thing talks about that if a person is born outside India after 10th December 1992, he can be considered as a citizen of India if either of his parents are the citizens of India. Okay, so you'll get that. Third one is from 3rd December 2004 onwards, a person born outside India shall not be a citizen of India by descent unless his birth is considered at, at an Indian consulate within 1 year of the date of birth or with the permission of the central government after the expiry of that period. What does this mean? Now, so we talked about 10th December 1992, right? After if he's born after 10th December 1992. So if a person is born after 3rd December 2004 outside India, if he's born outside India, at that time his registration should be done in the Indian consulate. Okay, his registration should be done in the Indian consulate within 1 year of his birth. Okay, so within 1 year his registration should be done, and if it not done, if it's failed to done, then he will have to ask permission from the central government. Okay, so that's what it talks about. When if a person is born out after 3rd December 2004 outside India, at that time, within 1 year, the parents, they will have parents or guardians, anyone, the parent, they will have to uh, register register his birth in the Indian consulate within 1 year. Okay, and if they fail to do so, then after that they'll have to ask the permission from the central government. Now, by registration, okay, by registration. Now, the central government may, on an application, register as a citizen of India of any person not being an illegal migrant, um, if he belongs to any of the following categories. Okay, so now we are talking about people who are not as a who are not Indians basically. We are basically talking about. So in this, what we are talking about, now we will talk about by registration. Okay, what does this mean? The central government may, on an application, register as a citizen of India any person. Okay, if he belongs to any of the following categories. Now we'll see the categories. Okay, now a person of Indian origin who is ordinary resident in India for 7 years before making an application for registration. So a person who is of Indian origin but he does not have a citizenship yet, then he can make a he can obtain the citizenship of India by staying in India for at least 7 years. Okay, so he can get it. Second one, a person of Indian origin who is ordinarily resident in any country or place outside undivided India. Okay, so a person of Indian origin who is ordinarily resident in any country or place outside undivided India. So even he can get the citizenship. Third, a person who is married to a citizen of India and is ordinary resident in India for 7 years before making an application. So a person who is not an Indian citizenship but he is married to an Indian. Okay, if that person is married to an Indian, at that time he can also obtain the citizenship. He can also get the citizenship, but he will have to be a resident in India. He will have to stay in India for at least 7 years before applying for his registration. Okay, minor children or of persons who are citizens of India. Okay, so minor children of persons who are citizens of India, even they will get uh, citizenship. Okay, which means basically Indians who, let's take an example, it's like basically Indians who have adopted a child of a different origin. Okay, let's say an Indian has adopted a child from the US or something like that. Okay, so that child is not an origin, he's not an Indian yet, right? But he can get his registration, he can get his Indian citizenship if the parents, they are Indians. Okay, so that's what it talks about, minor children of persons who are citizens of India. A person of full age and capacity whose parents are registered as citizens of India. Okay, so if that person's parents are registered as citizens of India, then even he can get it. A person of full age and capacity who or either of his parents or either citizen of independent India and has been residing in India for 1 year immediately before making the application of registration. Okay, now the next point, a person of full age and capacity who has been registered as an overseas citizen of India for 5 years. Okay, and who has been residing in India for 1 year before making an application for registration. Okay, so this means that a person of full age and capacity who has been registered as overseas citizen of India. Okay, so he has registered himself as an overseas citizen of India in some other country. Even he can apply for citizenship, and if he comes back to when he comes back to India, so he will have to stay for 1 year before applying for registration. So these are the points of registration. Okay.